So in this video we're going to talk about a new film called Sick of Myself, which is a Norwegian comedy drama, very black comedy drama. If you love movies, then this is the channel for you, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now my name is Marriott, we are Boys on Film. Joining me is Sean Vickers. He's moved into his new pad, he's there, he's all sorted-ish.
I'm in.
Congrats, babe.
Moving house really is boring.
I mean, it looks quite nice what you've got there. I mean, we can't really see much of it now.
We switched it up a bit, made it quite nice. It's not done, but you know what? I have an office, I can work, I can talk about films. It will get more glamorous. I think viewers are going to see me revolutionise this space.
So the film is Sick of Myself, a Norwegian comedy drama written and directed by Kristoffer Borgli. I've been doing some research trying to find out about these people that are in and also the director. There's not much information online.
It basically revolves around these two characters who are called Signe and Thomas. And Thomas is this kind of, I think, quite needy contemporary artist and is on a path to fame. And Signe, she feels it's not getting his attention, nor is she's seen as a bit of a wallflower. Like, he's the interesting one in the couple, and there's lots of art openings, etc. And so she tries to reclaim attention by initially faking having some conditions, but then going full on batshit. And
to put it mildly.
The story really follows her journey into claiming back her attention from Thomas with some quite bonkers techniques, really.
Oh my god, and that's what I loved about it, is that it gradually went more bonkers and batshit crazy like as the film went on, because it's just over an hour and a half, so I think it's perfect length, because I think any more than that it would have been a bit of a head scratcher. But I love the fact that she's kind of overshadowed by what he's doing, but I think they're both as bad as each other, but she's obviously more extreme, because he's got the success but she doesn't seem to have the success, or she doesn't have the attention, and she's really craving that attention, especially when she's with the friends.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting because as it progresses, he kind of starts dining out on the fact that she's got this condition. So you're right, it's kind of circular. They're just this kind of like, I mean, they'd be awful friends.
Can you imagine?
This symbiotic relationship that they have with each other, and this need for attention and where that comes from, is really what drives the storyline, which, you know, it starts off quite innocuous. You know, she kind of pretends she has a nut allergy at a restaurant. Like, she's sat at a restaurant table and everyone's kind of ignoring her because their husband, Thomas, is the star, or boyfriend, sorry, is the star. And then she kind of fakes a nut allergy, and basically everyone's interested. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, how long have you had it? And is it life-threatening? And then she kind of fakes a seizure. And I think she kind of like, she gets like a serotonin hit. She kind of goes, oh wow, I was the center of attention at that dinner. And that begins this story where she Googles this Russian drug that creates some really vicious side effects. And she believes that she's going to do that because that's how she's going to basically get the attention not only of like Thomas but the wider friend group and the world. And she kind of like fantasizes about these narratives that could happen, you know, which are also quite hilarious. I mean, it is a dark comedy. It did make me laugh in places. I thought it was really, really good.
It's really entertaining. I mean, half of you wants her not to go as far as she does, but the other half secretly you're thinking, oh come on, let's really push the boat out and just deliver. And she does. And
she really goes for it.
I mean, it starts off as, you know, a comedy. It gets darker and darker, like I say, you know, towards the end of the film. I mean, it really goes there. You're thinking, wow, how much further can she go? But she does. She really pushes it to the extremes, and I quite like that. I thought it was quite intelligent because it's kind of like, it's got two sides to this film, where it's a poke at society and it's a poke at media, and it's a poke also at people that feel like they're quite insecure but they want the attention. They're almost kind of, I don't know, wanting to be validated, and I think you can kind of relate to that to a certain extent. I think a lot of people using social media will be able to relate to her, but obviously she, you know, like I say, she does, you know, push the boat out well and truly.
At one point she gets sick, and certain friends come to visit her at the hospital and certain friends do not come to visit her at the hospital, and then she fantasizes her funeral, which is like this big grandiose affair with, like, you know, And then there's someone on the door running, outside the church going, "You can't come in because you did not come to the hospital." Like the narrative fantasy that she plays out at times is quite brilliant. It did remind me in places of The Idiots by Lars von Trier.
I've not seen that.
So the nature of that is people pretending and faking to have conditions, whether that's physical or mental conditions, and then going out into society and basically playing with that device. And elements of that reminded me of this film where, she's not actually sick. She actually makes herself sick, but she's not actually sick. But she's seeing how society reacts to her through a different lens when she has these conditions. As you say, that's very interesting. It's very interesting about today and around social media, around the need for attention.
Yeah.
And that need for attention doesn't necessarily have to be, look at me, I'm super skinny body, and the need for attention, she finds it in a different way.
Yeah, in a much darker way. I think it's quite astute. It is funny, and it is like a dark, it's got a dark edge to it, but also makes you think about stuff as well. Makes you think about like the current climate, and also, I guess it's like a counterculture comedy in a way, isn't it?
There's a couple of things, the boyfriend is awful. Thomas is just an awful human being.
So that makes you sympathise with her, doesn't it?
It does make you sympathise with her, but she's also a bit of an anti-hero, so you're like, I'm not sure whether I sympathise with her either, but I get why she's doing what she's doing. He makes, just for the viewers, art out of furniture, and at one point she's sat in a chair doing an interview, and he kind of interjects in the interview and says, "Can you just not sit in that chair, because I actually might use it for a piece of artwork, and I want the world to see it first through my artwork." They're just awful human beings, but the way they're set up, they actually are, is quite brilliant.
Yeah, and we should say it's furniture that they're stealing as well.
They steal, yeah. So they walk around these very glossy, gorgeous design stores, and then he eyeballs bits that he wants, and then he kind of directs her to grab it. And it happens in lobbies of, there's one point they're in the lobby of a bank and they nick a chair, and I don't know, it's quite brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it as well. I'm definitely going to give it a 4 stars. I'm tempted to give it 5, but maybe it did lag a little bit in the middle, but I think that was setting the way for what was to come. So I think there was a little bit of a mood change, a bit of a gear change, but obviously for the right reasons. So yeah, 4 stars for me.
Same for me, 4 stars.
So it's Sick of Myself. Well worth checking out, I think, if you love that black comedy. I suppose it's verging on horror a little bit.
It gets a touch gruesome. Also, it reminded me of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The end of the film where Jack Nicholson basically finds himself institutionalized, and her condition gradually becomes this thing that she's created, and she surrounds herself. She finds a way of finding other people like her who give her the attention because of the condition she has. So it reminded me a little. They're very wide parallels, but it did give me a little bit of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I can't wait to see what the director does next. I know that his last film was about 5 years ago. I think it was a film called Drib, about, again, another satire comedy drama based on a marketing ploy about an energy drink. So I want to see that, but I'd never heard of that before. I'd never heard of him, actually. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, more films from him.
Totally. Yeah, go see this. It's good.
Yeah, so Sick of Myself. Thank you, Sean, as always. We're going to be doing more LFF film reviews for the London Film Festival. You've been pretty busy with the move, so you have been catching films where you can. We haven't been together a lot of this, and again with Raj, we haven't seen stuff all together like we did maybe in previous years, but yeah, there's still more to come.
There's going to be definitely some catch-up this week. I feel like I'm back in the groove.
Amazing. So yeah, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.